Mrs. Goldilocks and the Three iPads. After finishing a riveting class on research, Mrs. Goldilocks made her way through the school's cavernous library to find some exciting resources. She was in the midst of picking a thrilling weekend read, more fun with Common Core Standards, PARCC, MCAS, and other assessments, when she saw a strange glow coming from what appeared to be a dark and dusty storage closet. Alas no, it was the legendary but underutilized computer lab. Tales spoke of brave souls who had ventured in and experienced miraculous lesson enhancement, but Mrs. Goldilocks was hesitant. Though she had used technology with lessons in the past and had in fact liked it, there were still many challenges and frustrations, like lack of time and aggregating projects. Still, the glow was too tempting, and like a teenager with a TV, Mrs. Goldilocks couldn't resist. The glow appeared to be coming from an iPad. On it were 3 apps: Socrative, Padlet, well, it was open on Safari, and Book Creator. Mrs. Goldilocks was thinking about how she had wanted to enhance her learning centers and focus on reflection. Socrative had a lot of possibilities, and it could be a great whole class review, but for her learning center, Socrative was too unstable. Next she tried Padlet, and that was great for back channels and KWL charts, but for the involved reflection she wanted, Padlet was too limited. Then Mrs. Goldilocks explored Book Creator. It would allow her kids to draw pictures, take photos right in the app, and record their voice. She could easily download templates and upload finished reflections. Book Creator was just right. This is the reflection Mrs. Goldilocks made using Book Creator. Suddenly, that iPad died, but Mrs. Goldilocks picked up another one. This one had 3 different apps: KidBlog, Book Creator, and Google Drive. Mrs. Goldilocks remembered that her department was looking at ways to digitize student portfolios. She wondered if any of these apps could work. First she tried KidBlog, and though it would work great for her students in newspaper club and allow them to type stories and get teacher and peer feedback, to use it with all 400 of her students would be too complicated. Even though she explored Book Creator before, she tried it again to see if it could also be the digital portfolio holy grail. For select digital portfolios, Book Creator would be great, but with limited storage space on the iPads and uploading projects, it's too complicated. Last she tried Google Drive. By having one account and working with different folders, Mrs. Goldilocks could easily manage and collect all of her students' work for different projects, and they could easily find it all too. Google Drive was just right. Suddenly there was a loud beep, then a cricket sound followed by a song. Like a grandmother spotting a tacky sweater, Mrs. Goldilocks had to investigate. It was another iPad, and this one also had only 3 apps. What a coincidence. Mrs. Goldilocks had recently read an article on digital storytelling and wondered if these apps could help with that. First she tried Explain Everything, and even though that had lots of different options, she felt like it would be too difficult for her young students. Next she tried iMovie, and though she could see some clubs using it because of their small numbers, between the constantly changing menu, large files, and uploading issues, she felt it was too impractical. Finally she tried Adobe Voice. Because it has an account, she could easily collect all of the projects, and it is simple enough for her students to work with minimal teaching. It even has a search engine with royalty-free images which warmed her librarian's heart. Yes, Adobe Voice was just right. Caught up in her technological bliss, Mrs. Goldilocks didn't notice the technology teacher, Mrs. Gear, walking in with her lunch. Mrs. Gear set her porridge down and welcomed the newcomer. Mrs. Goldilocks had some questions about several of the apps, and Mrs. Gear was happy to help. They even scheduled times to collaborate on several projects. Lesson learned, nothing ventured, nothing gained.